Okay, how do I make this day more stupid than it has to be? Wait, I cannot order two pizzas anymore? But why did they change it? What the fuck is going on? Oh my god. Because they hard coded pizzas, they realized, oh shit, we actually gave them an actually good deal that saves 20% or something. That's not exactly why I used the deal, but like that was a really good deal. Also, I send them a message saying like, give me that pizza that you don't actually sell anymore for some reason as well. I guess they got pissed off with that. Oh boy. Yeah, this is just a local pizza shop for me. For me, it's just pizza. It's a few burgers, a few potatoes, but mostly pizza, okay? And I don't, I think it's just a deal breaker, yeah? No longer has Diablo 2 in it. We only have Diablo 3. That sucks. Dungeon Siege 2 was nice. You probably never heard of it, but Dungeon Siege 3 is pretty nice. No, it's the other way around, okay? Dungeon Siege 2 was an amazing game. Dungeon Siege 1 was even better when modded. You know, that little sprinkle of modding fixes everything, all the problems. And the Siege 3 sucks. I guess it's not modded yet. Nobody gives a fuck, right? Like, just fix the Dungeon Siege 2, you know? Just fix it. That's all you have to do. I'm gonna explain you guys why games die. You can apply it to everything as I applied it to just an ordering menu. It's not exactly easy to make the connection, but if they had a decent purpose and informed people who cared about the deal, I wouldn't have the problem, right? I wouldn't bump into like, oh shit, they removed it. They did something really stupid. They just backed off. Like I backed off from the project of Creeper's Forge and I went to do something else. Like, what was the problem all of this? Why did I left Creeper's Forge to die? And why I'm actually gonna do that again? I promised something, and I probably cannot actually deliver any of this. I speculated because it was fun. It was fun to speculate, but I bumped into a very important problem, and I'm gonna explain you guys why something like Robot Arena 2 didn't turn into a good game when Robot Arena 3 was released after like 10 years of suffering, right? Yeah, it took a long time for Diablo 3 to come out. Man, I know so many games that bumped into the same issue. And so many games are hard-coded. I'm going to explain what that means with a few examples. The first example is the code itself that I used. I'm going to zoom in. This line of code is really beautiful. This is a structure that defines a color that is made out of red, green, and blue. And you can define these values here with a simple function. This one line allows you to do this. Color, red, green, and blue, you know, from 0 to 1. You just define that. Easy. And then this variable is actually capable of knowing that this color R is, well, red. You're trying to access red instead of doing something like this, like a 0, like some kind of ID. Minecraft used to use IDs to describe, well, item and block IDs. So you have these numbers instead of Minecraft feather or something. This is how I would change all of my code. But this is not the big part of actually used IDs on everything, on every single array I have used ever. I used hard-coded IDs like this. That's what's so fucking fascinating and crippling at the same time. Like, I can't remember any of this. When you look into the actual code, you have like current skill 0. What is that? What does that mean? 1? What does this refer to? Like, I don't know what any of this means. Is this current achievement like level or something? Oh, this is like a image 2 or some. Like, give me something to work with. What is this? I can't read my own code anymore. That's the problem. This is so difficult. I would have to rewrite everything. If I want to change anything, I have to rewrite everything. This is why games die. This is why hard coding is so bad. If you did in fact set up Minecraft bow as an ID, right? That's how it used to work. You're referring to the bow's ID, right? You're trying to access a bow. You will never really change the bow itself or the name itself, so this is going to stick a lot longer than the ID itself, which you might want to change, but okay. That's the problem, right? You might want to change something, and you won't be able to do that very easily. Especially if you hard-coded this. You will have to change that everywhere you have used this number, this ID number. You will have to change it everywhere in your code. You cannot just change the number. No, you can't change that anymore. And games suffer from this so badly. Change anything, and you have to deal with the dominoes falling all over the place. The way that I would have to fix this, the array placement, the way that I define arrays, is use the same thing here. With this one line, there's an entire function that describes all the variables. Wonderful. And this function right here that is being called, again, I can just use one line, add all the arguments, price, name, what the material is made out of, how does it look like whatever. It would still be one line of code, and the way I would access it, if I want to get the item's price, all I'm doing is, in this case, again, I made another mistake, which is naming items as prices. It's kind of fucking stupid. Yes, the reason why I created this list of items is to get the prices of them, because I needed to make a shop. But essentially these are in fact items, not prices. But okay, so in this case you have some kind of item list. And all you need to do is just see prices, or a price of an item, right? And you get it. And you don't need to remember that, oh, price is like the first ID of the item. And the third ID is like that other value that I need. It's really hard to read the code. It's just impossible to work with. So it's a deal breaker. Not only because this is happening, but AdventureCraft doesn't really work. Yeah, it works to run AdventureCraft, to even change the amount of RAM it's using, the amount of memory it's using. but you try and play a goddamn world, and eventually it's going to disappear. Let's wait until it does. Let's rant about something like this. This sucks. Spawners suck. I can't even access effect block with my hand. I have to use a mouse for it. It takes forever to destroy these blocks. Let's have a couple of these blocks. Okay, I have a hammer. I have to have a hammer to destroy blocks, by the way. It takes forever to do that. Like what? 5 seconds? 1 second for each block? Like, this is not comfortable. This is bullshit. Shut up, pig. Have spawned in the wrong way. Anyways. You do have to select an area. There is no ability to select range for how the spawner works. Again, a bit zooming out. And the functionality is just terrible. This is all over the screen, and if you have a few more custom mobs, you cannot see them anymore. You have to literally create your own custom spawner. And AdventureCraft is actually filled with blocks like these, right? Effect block is no better than the spawner, because what does these arguments do? What the fuck does that mean? Random Z? Y? Hey, okay, I get it. It's some kind of area. That's great. But that other thing? Is this like the offset? No? You have to like figure out by testing, which is the worst thing. But like, you know what the arguments do? They give velocity. Can you figure that one out? Intuitive? No, not at all. But like, yeah, that's what AdventureCraft 1 is about. If Cracked was willing to create AdventureCraft 2, it probably would be much better than this garbage. And especially, I could do it through scripting. Why is this world not destroying itself? I want to show the most annoying glitch in the universe. Just AdventureCraft crashing. Come on, guys. Please. And I believe it's just generating terrain and crashes eventually. Yeah. I can't... God damn it, you bastard. I have made 3 maps. I've tested them 4 times, and each time they crashed at some point. Well, that was unlucky. Okay, maybe it does work. Maybe I can use AdventureCraft. Well, not really, because I would still have to rewrite everything. And unless I find it fun, and I have nothing else better to do, let's just go to another problem. Or another example of the same problem. Of hard coding. I have hard coded these textures. And if I wanted to change anything about those textures, oh boy, I would have to redraw them. And you know what? I don't even know what font this is. I wouldn't be able to recreate it no matter how hard I tried. I was stupid, I get it. I hard-coded all of this stuff. But this happens. The same way this happened here, right? The same way Minecraft used to use IDs instead of numbers. I mean numbers instead of IDs. The same way goes here. Instead of using some kind of font and just a little bit of text that I can easily edit if there's like a typo, well, that would suck a lot, right? Oh, in Crest, I missed an A. Now I have to insert that A. Now I have to shift this and do all kind of difficult operations just to fix the symptom, but I'm not fixing the problem itself, obviously. So, how do you fix this? Right, this component repeats itself. The skill level increased. You increase the skill level, this pops up, that means that every single time this is going to be attached and can be stored somewhere else. And again, this is supposed to be its own font because I use it so often instead of an image, right? The cooking, again, uses the same font, and it simply uses the name of the skill, and then you have something related to the skill itself, which are scaled images, and AdventureCraft does not support scaled images, or just image scaling, which kind of, again, breaks the deal, because that's a really important feature. Oh my god. I use image scaling so much that some like achievements, this is how I had to do it. This is how it looks like. These are achievements. I had to copy and paste and reduce the size. These are achievements are the latest feature, so it doesn't look that horrible. Because it has like this component that I can copy and paste, and I can just easily resize it. It also has this component here, so it's done quite well, right? When you complete the achievement, I just put this on top, no problem. But if I had to do a separate image where it says done, like, that would be fucking stupid, right? Not only I'm not going to be able to change anything about that image when I put it together like this, but I'm also putting too much work on myself and reduce flexibility, right? It's just so fucking stupid. And again, all of these images could technically be separate components as well. They don't have to be on top of this background necessarily, but it's useful to have the background to kind of draw into the background instead of just some empty space. So it is justifiable, basically. Moving on, I have a health bar, let's say, and in order to fix this is a daily energy health bar. This is literally just the 4 components. You have the faces, you have the health bar itself, and then you have the background component, and then you have the I am tired component that appears on the last 2 health bar ticks, right? So these components, again, have to be separated. And I wouldn't be able to change health bar's color, right, unless I separate it. And it's only just like this tiny bit of image that is a component that repeats itself all across the health bar, which is really cool, right? All I would need it is just this little icon, and I can construct an entire health bar, and I can also change a color slightly, maybe how it looks like whatever. But I can't do that because it's all hard-coded. I would have to redraw the entire thing if I followed the same principle of just wasting my time, basically. So the last 2 examples, this one is okay, but again, this repeats itself. This is okay because it wasn't like too hard to put it together, but again, like, the background is a component, and now I cannot change the background anymore. I don't have access to the background the same way I don't have access to the font, right? If I wanted to create another one of these, I would have to remove this. I would have to remove this. Even if I wanted to change an image, and I removed this part, right? But where do I have a copy of this background? Like, I don't have it. I don't even have the component that I can put together to get an image, let alone to have everything just scripted. right? With the fonts and everything. Again, these are images supposed to be on top. These slots sort of repeat themselves, and all of these things should be scripted. Now, going to the last example, because we ran out of time already. Again, we have scaled images, which I shouldn't have really drawn, but again, there's no scaling in AdventureCraft, so I was sort of forced to. Now again, background is not exactly necessary. In this case, I needed to draw on the background on something, right? And I sort of possibly have an empty background, maybe. Please tell me I have an empty background component that I copy and paste. I don't think I do, which is just fucking mind-blowing. How could I do this to myself, right? So in order to create a component, I would have to delete all of this, clean everything up, and then put it together. And again, there's no reason to actually have so many images all over the place, just containing like this. It's so stupid. If I broke this health bar down in a few components, this would be just like this much of the screen, right? At most. And what is all this empty space? Like, I should be able to reuse it like Minecraft does. Minecraft did like an amazing job in squeezing things together and using components, and everything is a component. Like every block you see is a component, every tool you have is a component that you just put together your own adventure, and that was AdventureCraft. And yes, but now it sucks because something went wrong, something horribly wrong. And this is what it is. This is what happens. You hard code everything, and whenever you want to fix or tweak something, whenever there's new changes coming in, everything just falls apart really quickly. Okay, it becomes easier to create everything from scratch, create a new engine, and you do not know whether you're gonna actually succeed in making that new engine. And looking back, like, yes, it's nostalgic, it's very nice. I've released there's something weird, right? I've talked about how most games released on that second version is like much better than the first version, but the third version sort of collapses. Similarly, Creeper's Forge is a second version of Creeper's Forge, and I try to update it so far, and then the third version was when I started the development blog. This was very interesting for me, specifically Spawn development blog inside AdventureCraft, when I sort of try to just scratch everything and rewrite Spawn the Creeper's Forge using these amazing tools that I sort of learned how to use, basically custom fonts, custom inventory, that you can actually use a mouse and scroll and pick up items, all this stuff. It was beautiful, but not good enough for me to go all the way, right? And AdventureCraft still sucked, obviously, and now it sucks even more because it crashes randomly. So it's very, very scary for me to come back. I hope you understand, but this message is really big. This is why all the games die the way that they did. If you feel nostalgic about some games, because I played a lot of games, and oh boy, I would love them to come back in the way that they did. There's also another thing that I did not mention whatsoever, but it's probably best to leave it for the next video. See you guys next time.